Hey everyone, Cadaver Kelly here, and in this video I'm going to DIY this hat. So this is going to be a pretty easy DIY project. So I've got some buttons here. I'm not going to use all of these, but I'm probably going to use some of the buttons I have at my disposal. And I have some screw-on spikes and a screwdriver, and I have some pronged pyramid studs, and I actually got a hole puncher. If you watched my DIY video on the Goth battle vest, I was actually using a needle to poke a hole for the screw-in spikes and just stretching the hole, and it took so much time, so I just decided it was time to get a hole puncher, make it a little easier. And I'll link that in the description, as well as some of these other supplies. Those links are affiliate links, help support the channel. So let's get into this. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is put a large button in the middle. Then I think I might do some smaller buttons on the sides and then fill in the middle with studs and spikes. So let's see what button I'll use. I'll probably use just a Sisters of Mercy button on this. I think I want to save some of the other ones I have for other projects, so I'm going to put that right in the middle. Plus the contrast of the white on black looks good. And the nice thing about this hat is that it has this seam right in the middle, so that's going to kind of mark the center of it for me. But of course you could measure with tape measure, you could just eyeball it. No rules when it comes to DIY. Alright, so there we go. First button on. Now I'm going to pick out which buttons I'm going to use. I'll pick out two smaller buttons that are roughly the same size. There are a couple, I think there are two different sizes of buttons in here. I have ones that are really small, like this Clan of Zymox one right here. And then I have ones that are a little bit bigger, like this Misfits button. Not all of these are goth bands. Some of them are punk bands. Some of them are synth pop, post punk. I mean, I listen to not just goth, a lot of different alternative rock genres that kind of came out of that era or evolved out of that 70s, 80s punk movement. All right, so I have The Cure here. Why do I always pick the cookie cutter goth bands when I'm doing these projects? Well, if we're going with cookie cutter goth bands, we got Sisters, we got The Cure, might as well throw in Bauhaus. I'm gonna pick out two more, these medium-sized ones for right now. Funny enough, some of the other ones I have in the sides are also The Cure, Sisters of Mercy. I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. So I have Paralysis Permanente, which is a Spanish first wave goth post-punk band. These are all The Cure and Sisters of Mercy. I don't even know. How am I supposed to switch it up? I might add some punk bands into the mix just to give myself a little more variety. Got Lords of the New Church, so I'll throw that on there. That's in that medium size. Alright, I've got 4 buttons to work with, so I'll start with those. So 2 of these are white, so I'm probably gonna put one kind of like up here and another down here, just to have some balance. And I am probably going to just DIY this roughly where the corner of the visor comes up to and just DIY the front of it. I'm not trying to use all of my DIY supplies on a hat because I'd like to do some blazers and maybe a bag. I mean, of course I can always get more. I'm always replenishing my DIY supplies. I might do a tour of my DIY supplies at some point so you can see what kind of setup I'm working with. Alright, so we got Lords of the New Church up there. I'm gonna put Bauhaus on the other side, but since this one was up towards the top of the hat, I'm gonna put this one towards the bottom again, trying to keep it somewhat balanced. And I'm putting it again towards the edge of the visor. So we got that one up there, we got that one down here. I'm gonna put the Cure down here and kind of try to have it match where I put this one right here. Alright, so that's on there. I'm gonna put Paralysis Permanente up here. Alright, so there are those on that side, these ones on this side. Now I might go with some smaller pins. So we've got Killing Joke. That's a new wave band. Very goth adjacent though. Bikini Kill, which is a Riot Girl punk band, 90s Riot Girl punk band. So I guess this is not just going to be a goth hat, but it'll be a kind of goth and punk hat. Goth, punk, post-punk, new wave. All the good music, all on one hat. And I picked these two because they're both red, white, and black. I'll put Bikini Kill over here with Bauhaus and Paralysis Permanente. So there we go, we got 3 over there, 3 over here. They're not evenly spaced on both sides. I actually kind of like the spacing on this one with them a little close together on this side, but whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I think I'm gonna pick some more little buttons to go on this hat. I have a number of repeat bands in here. I think I have a couple Killing Jokes, couple Sisters of Mercy, Bauhaus, The Cure. So I'm going to try to not repeat bands on here. I'd like to represent as many bands that I love as possible. Keeping on the both goth and punk trend, we got a Dead Kennedys pin here. Dead Kennedys punk band, good punk band. Got Alien Sex Fiends, got a Virgin Prunes pin. They are an early goth band. All right, so I've got Susie and the Banshees. Surprisingly, I think this is the only Susie pin that I have in the bunch here. And Adam and the Ants. This is actually a vintage pin. It looks pretty old, and the back is it's going to give me a difficult time. I can already tell this pin has got to be older than I am. Also, big shout out to Neon Zegan for sending me this button. I'm not using it on this DIY project because I want to save it for something that I'm probably going to wear a little more often. I don't wear hats all the time. I want this to get a little more traffic than that, so I'm saving this, but thank you for sending this. Neon Zegan are the best. I'm going to link their Bandcamp in the description. They are going to be putting out new music soon, so everyone please keep an eye on their Bandcamp page. Oh, this pin was actually a little easier to maneuver than I thought it would be, especially for being so old. So some of these pins are kind of close together, but I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna start adding some studs and spikes. I talked about these pyramid studs in previous videos before, but they've got 2 prongs on the back of them, and what I'm going to do is push the prongs through the fabric of the hat till they are on the other side, and then I'm going to bend them down so the prongs are all the way down and that they're not poking up. I don't want them to poke my head, and I don't want them to fall out. Sometimes pyramid studs are 4-prong. These are 2-prong, which saves me time. I'm okay with that. So again, going to take these and press it all the way through the fabric until it pokes through on the other side. So here are the 2 prongs sticking up. It's kind of hard to see. There, you can see them a little better right there. I'm going to press them downward until they are all the way down like that, and actually kind of like pointed inward towards the inside of the stud. So there we go. That's the first stud. I'm gonna put a couple of these throughout the spaces here on the hat, and then I will go in with these screw-on spikes after that. All right, so there we go. We got 3 studs up here, 3 studs up here, lining the bottom here. And now I'm going to add some spikes to fill in this space in between. I just realized I'm not going to be able to use my hole puncher to get around the rest of the stuff that I've put on here. So I'm just going to use nail scissors to punch holes for the spikes. This works a little bit better than the needle because it creates a bigger hole. The way these screws work is you just stick this, they come with these screw backs. So you stick those through the hole. Alright, so there we go. The screws sticking out of the hole. And they come with these screw-on spike tops. And I'm just going to screw that on as much as I can. I'm not going to be able to screw it in all the way with just my fingers, but I'm going to get it started. And then I'm going around to the back of the hat where the screw, the flat back of the screw is, and I'm gonna get a screwdriver and hold the spike portion on the other side while I use my screwdriver to screw in. Here's the final product. This is just a casual hat to wear in the summer, kind of military style hat. For anyone who watched my vlog last week, the repairs in my apartment are done, and I should be back to my normal filming setup for next week's video. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.